I'm Sylvia Doss, and I am a faculty member and coordinator for Metro working with STEM students.
My name is Michelle Tony, and I'm part of the Metro team as a director of the Academy cohort.
My role here at San Francisco State University, I'm also here with the Metro program, and I work with health students here within the College of Ethnic Studies.
The topic that we decided to work on was to talk about climate displacement and the right to stay, and really how this impacts the communities that our students are living in right now, and just around kind of anything climate. We wanted to focus on really working with our first year students who are studying educational equity and college success, and just trying to start having them think about how that has impacted their communities in the past, how it's impacted them.
We try to take the approach from take the lead from indigenous people and bring in some sort of traditional ecological knowledge to set sort of a foundational value set, which sort of leads into climate action or leads into the actions that traditional Native peoples or indigenous peoples have been implementing to try to address the climate crisis. So we wanted to introduce students to some solutions, some creative solutions.
One way is we wanted to bring in the student voices, and we how do we go about doing that? And we decided to do a survey. And so there are a couple of members of the FLC who put together surveys that we actually delivered out to our students.
I think some of the basic survey questions that were ultimately formulated worked really well because we tested them with students just to see hey, what do you know about these topics? I think some of the questions we asked initially was just, do you know what environmental justice is? Or do you know what environmental racism is? Just some sort of baseline questions. One of the ones I loved that was so simple was just what is your earliest memory being in nature? So I think that gave us a good baseline to sort of understand where students were coming from.
We also did have a reading list. And as we went through it, we really started to make the decision of what does this look like? And we ended up coming up with a curriculum. So for me, particularly largely working with STEM students, I think it's really important for them to be thinking about climate and environmental justice. For them to have this baseline and be able to see how this ties together with the other concepts of the class, the systems that we look at within the class, and just how all this ties together, I think is really valuable for them. And introducing them to a lot of systems, right? Systems that they feel and that they have felt and they've experienced, but not necessarily named. So this just takes another one that says, okay, so how does this fit into this? And how do you show up in it?
These ideas lead to direct action. So examples we gave them were folks, indigenous people on the front lines of the climate crisis, right? Say in the Dakota Access Pipeline, right? And then we wanted to show them, hey, here's someone from Oakland, from the Asian Pacific Environmental Network, a former executive director there, Mia Yoshitani, directly in their neighborhoods, right? In the Bay Area, showing them, and now here's some examples, and they've done many things around getting families access to solar panels and things like that. So we wanted to show them just different ways that this value set, this ideology, I should say, which goes against the dominant worldview, is being used and is activating people in their practices and how they actually live in the world.
I would approach it, with my business students. There's a lot of companies who are taking advantage of those food deserts where urban areas or people of color don't have that access to those organic fruits and vegetables and meats like other affluential areas do. And that could, of course, change the environment of where those certain people live. But you looking at it in a business aspect, it's kind of more of a moneymaker or some way that it's producing capital for those who have the advantages and the resources to do. I look at it and teach it to my students in addition to what Michael and Sylvia has said. in that perspective as well, because it does make a difference. It does cross-pollinate in all areas that as humans have access to or aware of. And I think that, if anything, should be mentioned in classrooms, that it is a business. Environmental justice is a business. Like, people can find ways to make money off of it, good or bad.
I would just encourage all other faculty members to work with each other, just period. The ability to sort of share ideas, the ability to be in space together. I can't, regardless of what you're focusing on, I really can't speak to how important that is for us collectively in terms of just morale, speaking of the current moment, right? In terms of morale, in terms of just feeling supported by the people around you, and just sharing your ideas and seeing what comes out